When you're working with a big direct response company or a big insurance company where their budget is like $5 million, you can afford to do what this company wound up doing for this poor guy who had like a small boutique agency. He was doing specialty risk lines of insurance for property casualty, mostly for businesses. I said, well, how did the mailer go? What happened? He said, well, they did the postcards, right? And we did flyers and mailers, and they had the creative people design this stuff, and then they used lists. I said, yeah, of course they did. Well, tell me about the lists. He goes, well, it was by zip code. You know, they did 5,000 pieces a month or whatever it was for 6 months. I didn't get any business out of it. So you mean to tell me that your marketing service did like a Dun & Bradstreet list, like we're going to pick an affluent zip code? And he said, yeah, and it was a total bloodbath. Well, there's the problem. And there's a lesson to be learned for you, is that sometimes you go to an agency, they tell you that they're competent in all these things, but really they're usually only competent at one or two things. They know how to make postcards. What does that qualify them to know your line of insurance, exactly who buys your insurance, what kind of business, what industry are they in, and where to find those businesses? A lot of times they don't. So they get a list that they use for everyone, right? It's one size fits all. Whether you have an insurance agency, whether you sell used cars, whether you fix watches, and they send a mailer to people in a zip code, meaning a geographic territory. That's the equivalent of throwing darts at a board. That's like Wall Street was on last week. I don't throw darts at a board. I can't afford to lose. It's like, no wonder this guy blew through $35,000 or $40,000 within 6 months, didn't get any business. Like, the agency or the people doing your marketing, like what I do, they should know better. To know that you can't sustain, if you have a business and you hire me to get results for your business, however, you can't sustain 6 months. You keep paying every month, hoping to maybe get one lead. You have to see some light at the end of the tunnel, or it's going to be, and not very many agencies on their fancy websites or on their clips and on their Twitter and on their feeds and in their presentations and their brochures, none of them ever come out and tell you about when they royally screwed up and lost a client. You just keep taking the client's money to do these mailers, and then in 6 months the money runs out, there's no business, and that client has a real problem, and so do you. Now you have to go out and get another client. A lot of agencies operate that way, marketing services and advertising services, whether it's online or traditional. And it's a shame, and I resent it.